Hi everyone, we are in our second day to become a full stack developer with app development. Now, yesterday what we have did, we learned how to create directory, how to set up the project, how to initialize our host our project in a GitHub. And now today we'll be learning about the basic structure, basic part of the HTML and CSS. I'll be pushing those to the GitHub also, and we'll be learning today new git commit syntax, that is feat. So because we'll be creating feature or adding feature. So let's see. Similarly like yesterday, we are going to give it to our AI tool that will help me to learn this step by step in easy language with proper example and code. So it is going to give us the response back, and we'll be looking at each response, and we'll try to understand what are the features, or what are the tags that we need to learn. For example, uh, like we have to learn about the elements. For example, header, nav, main section, and other things. So let's see. We'll be moving ahead step by step. So we have a layout or the skeleton while we're creating any web page. For example, if we come to GitHub, so we have these sections. So you can see this is one section, this is one section, this is one section, that will be a header. So for here the example is there, header at the very top. For example, let's say you can call it as header. This is called as a header. Now other part is nav bar that we can see. So we can show this as a nav bar because it is giving us a navigation. For example, with this help of navigation, we can move side by side issues. We can go to pull request, we can go to agent like this. And then we have a section. So you can see, we can say that this is one section, this complete thing is one section. And after that we have article thing. So we can, let's say, like if something we have here, we can call this at article. And then aside, so you can see this part is as aside. And then footer. So if you scroll down, so you can see these type. If you have something in the end, for example, in general you can see on GitHub, that will be GitHub inc or something written that, or something will be, for example, copyright thing written here, that will come under the footer. Or basic links, for example, carriers or something, if you visit on a carrier page or something, that will comes under a footer. So that is the basic layout of the skeleton of the web page. So how to create these things first, that we need to learn. So we have a tag or element, that is header. The top of our page or a section usually contains logo, main or title. So you can see this part, this is called header, logo, title, other thing of the page. And then we have a navigation bar that I already told you. This is the navigation part. And then section, a distinct block of content like contact or section or about me section or something. Article, a self-contained piece of content that could make sense on its own, like a blog post or single project card. And then footer, a bottom of our page usually containing copyright info and secondary links. So nesting in HTML, you put tags inside of other tags. So you'll be using tags inside other tags. For example, this is called nesting. For example, our nav or menu usually lies in a nested header. For example, if we can put these things here only, instead of creating a new navigation, we can put it here. So that will come under the header only. Or we can say this as a whole header, like this part as a header, and in that header that navigation contains, that navigates in present. And then we have few other thing, that is text and media. So now we put the actual content inside those layout and boxes. So we have a heading tag, that is h1 to h6. H1 is the biggest one, h6 is the smallest heading. And after that we have a paragraph tag, that is standard paragraph for the text. UL, that is unordered list, ordered list, and the list items or lists. Every single item inside list gets one of these, or the image to display images. So what attributes? Some of the tags need extra instructions to work. We call those attributes. For example, an image tag needs know which picture to show. We use src to highlight like where we are getting those images to show on the screen. So that is called the source, or the alt, that is alternative text that we are going to show if image doesn't load properly. So these are attributes. So the alt attribute is for accessibility, like it describes the image allowed. And then we have an interaction. For the interaction we have button and link. So these two confuses a lot beginner. For example, A is the anchor tag or the anchor link, like takes the user different place to another place, website, href. So we'll be seeing those things. And forms and accessibility, like when we want users to type or something, we use form, and we have input in text area. So that will be moving and slowly. So this is giving me an example or something. So what we're going to do, we are going to make a plan here. So as a basic part, I'll be creating one file, touch index.html. So you can see we have index.html. So we'll come here in our folder. You can see index.html is already present. Now it already given us a plan, like it given me the code, like if you can put a code like this one. So I'm just going to simply copy and paste everything here, and I'll quickly explain you what the code we have. But HTML code doesn't like that. So what we're going to do, we're going to write it HTML, or I think that will work. So we have a template already present. So that shows like document type is HTML, and then HTML language will be English. That contains that HTML. Inside HTML we have a header tag. That header tag contains like metadata or the information about this file. For example, the title of this file, and the metadata, for example, report height, content, size, and the character set like UTF-8 or something like that. So we have everything here. Now if we can take this and we can put it here. So now inside our body tag actually contains actual content. So inside this body tag we have pasted the actual content. So I'll go step by step as we were learning. So see, we already had discussed about header, main section, article. So we created a main tag, like main wrapper for the whole page. This will contain a whole page functionality right now. That will be inside the main tag. That will help us to track step by step main, and then main contains header. Then that main header contains like a heading that will show us my learning journey, and then it contains navigation also. And then we have a section about that shows like about me. And then we have another section that shows about learning goal. We have another section. We can create multiple sections, and we have a footer. So that the structure that we learned here: header, navigation, multiple sections, and then footer. So if when we save this, we're going to save it, and we should write open index.html. So no command from open index.html. So see, index.html is already open. Now if we inspect it, that will be using command option I in the Mac. So we can see inside body tag what we have one main element that contains everything, and then we have header. So it's not styled yet properly, so that's why it looks like that. So this is a header, and then one section about me, one section is about my goal, one section is about my checklist, one section is about my project, and one section is about my contact, and that contains the forms and other thing, if you can see properly. Okay, So let's see everything one by one. Once we have those things, for example, we have nav, we have main, we have section. So we already learned about those things. Now we'll move to text and media. So as we discussed, we have a heading H1 to H6. H1 is the biggest one, and H6 is the smallest one. We have paragraph, ordered list, and list item. So you can see in our header, we have a first thing that is H1. That is the heading tag. That H1 is the biggest one. So if we come here, you can inspect this directly. So this is H1, that is heading. So this is H1 tag, the biggest heading. If we can anyhow we can edit it, for example H4, let's make it H5. So you can see it becomes very small. So as we'll be moving ahead from H1 to H6, H6 will be very smallest. Now if we'll make it again H1, now it again becomes a big one. So H1 to H6 we can move to make our heading proper, big, small, whatever suits best. And that this is very good for SEO. If you have heading, bar, order list, all the tags are present. For example, if you're building a website, if you wanted to make your website SEO so better, so that it can top the Google search, so you should follow these things. You should add tags and elements properly while creating your website or something. Okay. So the other thing is what was the other thing? Yes. After that we have paragraph, a standard paragraph text that will comes under the P tag. If you see here, this is the P tag that shows that it is a paragraph. If you come here, so this is a complete paragraph that shows it's a paragraph that contains a simple text or the information. Okay. Now one section is completed. What is the other part? Now we have order list, unordered list, and list item. So we can see in the main, in our nav bar, we have unordered list. For example, in this unordered list section, there is nothing numbering or something. For example, if it will be ordered list, there should be some numbering. You can see here, this is an unordered list, so it's completely a dot dot dot. There is no numbering. If it will be ordered list, then it will be in complete order. Let's try this once. Order list. Okay, let's save this. Now if you save this, see, now it becomes order list that comes under 1, 2, 3. It becomes a complete ordering. Okay, so we are going to make it UL only because I think for now the dot is better. Now we created unordered list. So in that unordered list, we have list items. We have items. So we created a list and we added items in that list. So list item 1, we have anchor tag that we studied here. If you can see what we have, the anchor tag is the anchor link tag takes the user to a different place, another page or another website. It uses href attribute to know where to go. This is the href attribute. So if you can see here, we added href attribute intro, project or contact. For example, right now we are not given any URL or something to move on. We just made an ID. For example, I think intro part. Okay, yeah, yes, this is the intro ID. So we make sure that if someone clicks on introduction, we should come to this section. Right now our website is not that big, so might be it not be visible to you, but yes, if you click on introduction, so you can see we came just a little bit down because introduction section is there, about me only. So about me is visible. Similarly, I think contact me is also there. So if I click on contact me, this contact me opens. So that is the link. And if you can I can add anything here also. Let's say https google.com. Now if I save, that link should take me to google.com. Okay, intro, it's not saved. So see, I went to google.com. And we can do one more thing to open it in a new tab instead of similar tab. We can here write target instead of blank. What this do? This makes sure that once we click on introduction, this same that google.com should not open in this same file. It should be open in new tab. So what will happen? Okay, it is not saved again. Okay, I think now it's saved. So let's see. So if I click on introduction, so see in new tab it open, our older tab is already there. So that was target hyphen blank, sorry, slash blank. So this is about link or the anchor tag. And if you move ahead, we have the image to display. Right now we didn't add any image, so we can ignore it, but this is how we can show the image. This one line box only. And forms and accessibility, so we can see in about section, we can put this section a little bit above. So in contact, we put it a heading, we created a form. So once we write this form section, it means we are moving ahead to create a form. So in forms, we can add multiple things. We can add label, input, text area, buttons. We can add a lot of things, for example, toggle, and other things. For example, to select anything, we create a list. We can create drop down, and we can create blank spaces or something. A lot of things, like whatever we need to add in forms and all, we can add. So we'll be looking at those things later on, slowly. But this is the basic part. That is the label. For example, here you can see written for name. So for name, it will match it with ID name and font name. So it means this label is for this input. So if you come here, so your name is the label, and this is the input type that we given here. So it's very simple: label for name and then input, and then label for message, the text area, and the button to type submit. Type submit means once we click on send message, this form will be submitted. So this is just need to help us to understand like what we are doing. So this is about the form. Now if we come, I think most of the things are done. So again, these things are done. So we'll go ahead with the git thing. If we see ls, we have index.html. If we see git status, so see, we have one untracked file, that is index.html, because we created it. So we will stage this file first. Git add. Now if you see git status, so we have changes to be committed. Now we have a new file that is already staged, that we can push it to our repo. So for that we need to write a git commit command, git commit -m. Let's see what message we have. We have add semantic page content. Okay. So I'll be writing feed here because this is a feature, and then we come. So we already have a comment here. Git push origin. So origin means that URL where we need to push. Now once we click on push, so see, everything got pushed to that repo. And if we come here, we have one more file, index.html. We added a semantic page structure content. Okay, so that is it for the day 2 part. Let's move ahead in day 3. See you there.